Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, and 990 AM, WEEB. Hey, welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sand Hills. It is time once again to have some fun with Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with retired Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel.
Hey, morning, Moore County. It's Wednesday morning. Time to get up, shuffle down to the end of your driveway, and pick up that trash down there in that little plastic bag. Make sure you don't kick it out in the street or kick it in the gutter. Bring it back and put it in the garbage where it belongs.
All right, you got your standing orders. Don't forget, of course, this program is being heard and seen around the world on a live video stream. That's available right now at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where that link's located, or with your mobile device, use your YouTube app and put Mornings with the Leader Man in the search. If you're on a, our website, you can get it, I already told you that. If you're on your mobile device and you need just our audio stream, well, we suggest using many streaming services like TuneIn, iTunes, and Streamer. Just put WEEB to that search, and as always, it's available on our website at talk973.com. Upper right-hand corner of every page has an icon that says Listen Live. Tap that once and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills, nothing really changing. It's going to get a little worse than yesterday. Partly cloudy today, and that's the bad part. You're going to see that sun and what it does mixed with all this humidity. We'll get a high of 89, but after you mix that heat and humidity together, you come out with a heat index of 95. Oh, boy. Then tonight, partly cloudy and isolated thunderstorm, a low of 74.
Even better.
Yeah, with all the bugs coming at you. Oh, it's summer? I get to go nag your head and your ears and your eyes and land on your chest and everything else. My, that is a good-looking chest. But let me stick my needle in it. Then Thursday, more of the same. Scattered showers, 90, heat index 97. I say more of the same, worse. Friday, partly cloudy, isolated thunderstorms, high of 89, heat index 96. Saturday, 91 for a high. Sunday, the temperature's going to be higher, 94, but you should see a little break in the dew point. That's still holding true according to the models on Sunday afternoon. Monday, back right into the muggy soup with a high of 94. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are east-northeast. I'm sitting here and hoping that these numbers will change by themselves.
Oh, you can manipulate them and they don't change?
I can find a ray of hope in there. Right now, winds are east-northeast at 6, visibility 10 statute miles, pressure is 3006, dew point 72, humidity, big surprise here, maxed out at 100%.
Good.
And it's mostly cloudy and 72 right now here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And we give you all those three frequencies because there are spots in this town. Since we went FM, I've monitored a lot of spots. And there are spots in this town where every FM signal, I don't care whose it is affected. And
yeah, there are. Yeah, it's Pinehurst.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about toward Aberdeen. It's where evidently the skip from other stations that come in and whatnot play havoc with signals, and engineers are getting new and cool toys to stick on other radio station signals that super pack the signal and try to just splatter everywhere. But long story short, without getting too technical, it happens to all the stations. So if you have trouble with one frequency, try the other, and then the other. I mean, the AM's definitely solid. It covers, period.
Yeah, that's usually my default. When the FMs are a little fuzzy or something, like AM comes in.
AM will be there. If and if when 97.3 is not working in this spot, try 104.1. It's the exact same programming on all three stations. So switching is not going to change of what you're listening to. It just might make it clearer. All right. Okay. Things to talk about today. We got more asinine decisions being made by our school. Excuse me. His Holiness at the school board. Dr. Bob Grimsey explained, and I put this in quotes because this came off of Sand Hill Sentinel, his decision to order a Phase 2 study on that land over there in Aberdeen, where the school's about half through being constructed. And I always thought the school board ran the thing, or was supposed to, but, you know, in recent months here, we found out that the school board has no say. They just bob their head. We need to get bobblehead dolls for all the school board members.
You've got them.
So you can thump them and bobble their head. Yes, Bob. Yes, Bob. Yes,
They're
Bob.
already there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they sit in person up there and bobble their head. Yes, Bob. Yes, Bob. Yes, Bob. Oh, you're so wonderful, Bob. Yes, Bob. You know, go ahead and kill our kids, Bob. Okay. We're in support of that. They hired a company called, I'm sorry, back up, Steve. His Holiness has hired a company called Building and Earth. Now, that was the company that conducted the initial study of the school site for environmental reasons. And they didn't, like John said in the Zumwalt zone, they did not eliminate all the potentials in there. The main problem with hiring the same company to come and say that your original figures were correct and everything's hunky-dory is asinine. What you do is you hire a competitor, a strong competitor of theirs, to come in and do their own independent study. Then if they jive up, that brings in a good piece of art.
Yeah, there's some validation there.
Yeah.
But bringing in the same company to validate their previous results is not.
It's just asinine. That's one of the dumbest things I have ever heard.
What was that saying there? Keep doing the same thing. And whatever.
Expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Sign of insanity. Like I said, what they should do is, and you jump in any time, Jeff, is hire a different company, come in, do their independent searches, do different bore samples. Because you see, they're going to go right back to the bore samples they did before.
Right.
Oh, this one tested. Okay, let's drill down here. Let me go out there and point out bore samples, because I'm going to bring with me a well digger.
That's if they even re-bore anything.
Yeah. I would bring out a well driller, and because he can tell you what's under that land better than anybody else, and not with a dowsing stick, but really look at the land and tell you where every little perfect well is, and where every artesian well is, and so forth and so on. Where you can get good samples, and let them drill different places on that site. Let a new company come in and drill the different places and draw their own conclusions. As long as we know for a fact they're independent of that school board. And
well, that's just
Dr. Bob.
They're not. Who's paying you, et cetera. So, it's we already know what the result's going to be. So why bother to spend the money and why do it?
You can bring pressure on them. I had a apartment complex I was building once, and I had solar and material engineering out there to take samples of the concrete pours, and because they had to have a certain strength by the technical book I had to follow. So anyway, long story short, one of the brakes came up short. They take 3 samples. They break them in 7 days, 14 days, 21 days,
Right.
And the 7-day break came up short of what that concrete was supposed to be. It's supposed to be 2,500, and it came up like 18 something.
That's bad.
And here I'd be digging out footings under a building to, at least, to say the truth, I was not a happy man. And I called in the concrete company, called in soil material. I said, why in the hell do I have you out there if you don't tell me at the time there's something wrong with this concrete? That's why you're there. You're not there just to take a sample. You're there to offer an opinion if you think we got a problem. But you didn't. Obviously, we got a problem. I said, you hold those cylinders longer. I don't want a 14-day break. I want a 21-day break and a I forgot what I said, 48 probably. I said, because as long as it breaks over 2,500, I'm okay.
Right.
And I told him, looking him in the eye, and I said, it better break over 2,500. Or you're going to be hearing from me again. And guess what? It did break over 2,500. Today, all those apartments are down. No, they are down. Walmart came in and bought them and put Walmart
well,
up.
Yeah, Walmart's, there.
Actually, it was the Walgreens. But I'm like, golly, it tore down perfectly brand new, almost brand new apartments for Walgreens.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I guess their numbers prove out, though. But yeah, they need to hire an independent test agency to come out there and conduct this phase 2. Then if both reports are jiving, we have something. If they have big differences, hey, we got something to sit down and talk about. But no, as long as His Holiness is picking the same company, this is all, and complaining that we're having to do this because other people are complaining about that site, and this is a unneeded expense of $25,000.
I'd like to check his laptop and see if he's already written the "See, I told you it was okay" message already.
Yeah.
See if the pilot has that in their file too.
Yeah.
It's already been written. Where have we seen that before? I don't know. Exoneration.
He says, well, since the pressure's on to do another test, Bob Grimacy, His Holiness of the school system, will get the same company to come back in and say that their first numbers were good.
Right.
Because I am so smart and everybody will do what I tell them, right, Board? Yes, Bob, yes, Bob, yes, Bob, yes, Bob. And don't let me have to tell you again. Let's see what else His Holiness is up to. The ACT scores debacle, where the students at Pinecrest came in and took tests that some numbskull threw in the trash can somewhere because they just disappeared off the face of this earth. He or she probably burned them.
Well, at this point, they are in the trash can somewhere, probably. Whether that happened to begin with, we don't know. But at
they
this
missed
point,
the deadline and they got rid of them.
Yeah, they've disappeared now. Yeah. It's like, ooh, those are still sitting there.
His Holiness has come up with the solution here.
Well, see, all you got to do at that point is actually put them in the mail without postage, and they'll just go into the ether.
Well, like I said, His Holiness has come up with the solution, Jeff. The district, under the supervision of His Holiness Dr. Bob, has established a 10-member team, not 1 or 2, but 10, to review the incident and ensure it does not happen again. Here's an idea. Carry it to the FedEx store. Then it won't happen again. Just saying.
You got 10. How much is
tell the principal they're in charge of getting it to the FedEx store, period.
Yeah, how much is...
Problem solved.
How much is salary for 10 people to review going to cost?
Who knows?
That'll be another $25,000.
They just go back to the Board of Commissioners and say we got to have more money because we were under pressure and we had to have a study done to make sure it didn't happen again.
Well, it's real. You sit there, hey, you were supposed to send a test. What happened? Well, this, that, or that. All right, don't do that again. Let's get on with it. Yeah. You don't need to spend, 10 people ask the same question?
You just look at your principal and say, it's not going to happen again because it's up to you to get it to the FedEx store.
Yeah, let me get one of those.
If it doesn't, it's your career.
Let me get one of those big, heavy incandescent light bulbs, make them sweat some. What'd you do? What'd you do? What didn't you do?
But anyway, they've established a 10-member review team.
Oh, dear.
The team is evaluating all phases of the test procedure and will determine the feasibility of utilizing online testing for the ACT testing in the future. Don't tell me somebody's not taking it to the FedEx store. It's going to cost us $1 gazillion putting in a bunch of computers to take the test.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
That's what's going to happen. You know, it doesn't. It's kind of like NASA. When they were first putting men in space, NASA spent like $2 or $3 billion to develop a pen that would write in space.
Yes, they did.
The Russians sent up a pencil.
Yes.
Worked the first time.
Yep. But they forgot a pencil sharpener, so once they broke it, they were out of luck.
That's what your little knife's for.
You chew the end of it.
That's right. The team will be led by a more school executive officer.
Oh, well, we'll have to build another annex and put more offices out there for the 10-member team to sit around so they can discuss.
Well, it's being led by Moore County Schools executive officer. They love titles up there, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm the executive officer for academics and student support services. What the frig does that mean? But it's not just anybody. This is Dr. Mike Metcalf. Is scheduled to provide an initial report on August 5th at the school board work session, and the Pinecrest High School website will have updates. Yes, when His Holiness speaks, we will pass it on to you. 10-member board to say, oh, we need to buy a bunch of computers that will cost the schools $3 million in new computers to be able to take these tests. How much did it cost before to take the test? Nothing.
Yeah.
Now we got to have computers. Gee, I don't know how I survived those tests when I only had a pencil and an answer sheet.
No.
I know the difference. The guy supervising our tests took them to the FedEx store.
Well, I had to take them at Notre Dame High School. They had a nun proctoring my classroom.
Don't you even look up, Drummond.
My cousin went to Notre Dame. I went to public school, but my cousin went to Notre Dame, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, they sent you a little letter. See sister, whoever." So I showed my cousin. I said, "Hey, who is this?" And she said, "Oh, that's Sister so and so. When you walk in, you do exactly what she says. Sit down and shut up." Oh, okay. So, I was the first one in the door. Good morning. How you doing? Your seat's right there, sir. So I just sat there and lined up my pencils and, just kind of sitting there twiddling my thumbs.
Yeah.
And about 5 minutes later, in comes this guy, student with his girlfriend. And he got smart mouth with her, and she smacked the crap out of him.
Hopefully from the girlfriend.
Yes, right up side of his face. He got up there and, he walked in. She said, "Hey, you're not on my list. You have to go." And he's holding hands with her. Well, she's going to stay here till the test starts. Wacko. I mean, there wasn't even another word. Just smack. Get out. Sit down. Oh, wow. Said, this is Catholic school. Well, this is interesting.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. May I have another?
No, he didn't say thank you. He didn't say a thing.
I'm a dummy. Can I please have another to prove it?
Said, I think I like public school.
So there's more bonehead decisions from His Holiness there. Hiring the same company to come out and test the same school site soil to prove they were right the first time. Yeah, that's a smart use of $1,000, Bob. Way to go. Way to go, buddy.
Well, while they're out there digging around, maybe they'll find those test answer sheets somewhere.
Could be.
Could save the $25,000 if they dig them up.
But they have rules. You can no longer submit them. You missed a deadline.
Oh, yeah. Well, there is that.
That's all right. His Holiness is in charge. In fact, they extended his contract.
Yeah.
Remember that on Monday? People came out and spent time going to their school board and talking and saying, why are you extending his contract now? Why not wait for the new school board that has to live with him?
Yeah, they're tying the hands of a new board, potentially.
Well, because he might go floating. He told us I don't know this for a fact. I'm just floating this out there.
Oh, well.
He said he's going to go float his resumes everywhere. Well, we encourage that.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, please do. And leave.
Yeah.
Because we proved you suck at your job. Maybe you can go kick some more doors in the office. That's impressive. A bad old door. I'm mad. Kick it! Kick it! I feel better, His Holiness says. I kicked the door in the trash can, slammed the door.
Really?
Yes. They need a hashtag dedicated to me, Dr. Bob.
Hash mark save the trash can.
Oh, the things I know I can't say right now.
Trash cans have feelings, too?
The trash cans is just the least of it.
Well.
All right, 7:49. Let's, of course, the Zimwald Zone will be here today.
What did I hear? Did I just hear like a trash can thumping around somewhere?
Oh, somebody having a temper tantrum up there. That's a daily occurrence. It's like earthquakes in California. What's the magnitude of that kick? Let's see here. Okay, let's put some funny on your face before next hour when Zimwald Zone will be here. And
it gets even worse.
Yeah. Summer's upon us, and if you got a kid and you figured out now he needs to go to summer camp, well, it's not too late to send them.
Hey, parents, did you wait until every camp was booked and now you're going crazy because you don't want your kids in the house? Don't worry. There are plenty of kids' summer camps still available, like Camp Itchy Booty, a combination of mosquitoes and no toilet paper. Camp Anaconda. We set a big snake loose in camp and your kids get to stay awake all night long. How about Camp Gunnawaka? No bikes, no skateboards, just you, your Fitbit, and steps. There's Camp Tick in beautiful Lyme, Connecticut. Or how about the Incontinent Palomino Western Trail Ranch? Procrastinating parents, summer camps for kids. You should probably sign your kids up today, but we know you won't because you're pathetic.
All righty. And you know what today is, being July 10th? It's National Kitten Day.
Kitten Day, oh dear.
And to celebrate, here's a kitten hurling up a hairball for you.
Good.
July 10th is National Kitten Day. And to celebrate, here's a kitten hacking up a hairball. Happy National Kitten Day.
There you go. Little wet ball of fur.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to skip that one. Yeah, Gramps is here too. He's got something he wants to tell us.
What in the cold dang world's going on around here? My family asked me the other day if I'd planned my funeral yet. What in the cockamamie universe are they thinking? I'm not dead yet. Why would I want to plan my own funeral? They said a bunch of their friends' parents had already planned theirs. Well, how in the heck do they know when they're gonna die? Back in my day, you lived your life, you died, people said a few nice words at the service, and you got planted 6 feet down for worm food. Those were the days. Planning my own funeral. How about this? Just throw me in the nearest dumpster. You can bury me there, along with my will. How about planning that for a funeral? Good for nothing, family.
And, of course, everybody trying to cool off in this heat around the swimming pool. This is why we're having daily tips from Dylan, the teenage lifeguard.
Here's today's pool and beach tip from Dylan, the teenage lifeguard.
You know, I overhear many conversations, and let me tell you, the moms out here say a lot of inappropriate things. Hey, pick that up.
That was today's pool and beach tip from Dylan, the teenage lifeguard.
29-year-old woman in South Carolina carjacked another woman on Friday night by hitting her with sticks and throwing live black snakes at her. While the woman was distracted and freaked out by the snakes, the carjacker took off with her Honda CR-V. Then she got into a high-speed chase with the police, crashed. Yeah, let's take the car out. Let's not back off and wait a little bit. Let's be sure. I'm the highway patrol. I'm going to take that car down. Nobody gets away from HP. Anyway, she took off foot and got arrested. It's not clear where she got the snakes, but it was live and not venomous, so they released it into the woods.
It all began when the suspect approached the victim in an attempt to steal her vehicle. She swung sticks, she threw a snake at her, and even hit her in the head with her fist.
Yeah, so we're going to go kill her car for her.
Yeah, wreck her car. Great.
Yeah. Ice cream store in Florida busted the owner of a neighboring business vandalizing their place last month. They're not sure how she got in, but they caught her on surveillance camera, picking her nose and wiping it in the ice cream, spitting on stuff in the freezer, and urinating in a bucket they use to churn ice cream.
Jesus.
They had to throw out about $2,000 worth of stuff, and they think she's angry about the customers taking up all the parking spaces. What's with people vandalizing ice cream?
Well, yeah, this is what social media gives you. So,
become popular, and obviously this is a very small parking lot, and I'm guessing we didn't even know she was mad. She was able to access that room, without us knowing. We open at 3, she opens at 8. So we take this business very, very seriously, and I know when something's been tampered with. Stuff like this can ruin our business. Hopefully she'll get some help.
well, that stuff like that shouldn't even be allowed on social media. Maybe there ought to be. Well, I don't know how you would do it, but they want to kick off conservative speech and this and that and the other thing, but then they'll allow knuckleheads like this to post stuff and leave it up there.
Yep. When you go to a big event and there's a flyover, like usually with the national anthem, when they get to and the home of the brave, as the military always does, at that moment, not a moment too soon, not a moment too late, but at that moment, you hear the of the planes going over, of the jets. And it has a real moving experience for you. If you didn't plan to get emotional, you will. But what happens when the Air Force in Switzerland was scheduled to do a flyover at an event on Saturday to mark the anniversary of the Swiss aviation pioneer, but they went to the wrong event 4 miles away and accidentally flew over the yodeling festival. I mean, here's kind of what, luckily we had audio of the flyby accidentally going over the yodeling thing. Here's what the Swiss Air Force said.
The Swiss Defense Ministry has had to apologize after their crack air display team performed a flyby over the wrong town. The team flew 4 miles further away, which happened to be hosting the 31st Northwest Yodeling Festival. The squadron leader apparently saw the huge marquee set up for the yodelers and misdirected the jets. The group performed 4 formations for the staff of the yodelers, who was said to have enjoyed the unexpected show.
I'll give that guy credit. He didn't miss a
The weather now,
yodel.
Ben Rich, when you book a fly past, you don't expect them to actually fly right
Another
past,
yodeling,
do you?
Yeah.
He didn't hesitate or miss a beat. He just continued on. He's a performer.
You can buy special powder packs to put on your tires for gender reveals now. Did you know that?
Oh.
So when you do a burnout, the smoke is either blue or pink.
Great. All right.
Yeah, a good old redneck reveal. But it might not be a great idea. A guy in Australia did it recently and set his car on fire. He also got arrested because he did it on a public road.
That's classic.
Here are two Australian officials talking about it.
Things like this, because of social media, that they do give people ideas where they see them, people think it's a great idea and why not try themselves. But doing that sort of thing on a public road with people standing in front of the car as you're moving towards them is, a pretty silly thing to do. It's all fun and games until someone loses, in this case, a car.
That's mad.
And a 19-year-old Instagram model from the UK is selling her bath water. It's $30 for a small jar. She caters it to gamers, and she also calls it Gamer Girl Bath Water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here's a quick...
Rise up, Gamer Boys. It's time to get your Gamer Girl bathwater.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. We are watching a cold front that's getting closer and closer to our state. And by the time we get to tomorrow and especially Friday, the odds of seeing showers and storms grows. Now, later today, if we see any showers and storms, they're more along and east of I-95, the high in the mid-80s to about 90. It's a warmer afternoon. An early evening shower cannot be ruled out, the low in the low 70s. And then tomorrow, especially north and west of Raleigh, a better chance for scattered storms with upper 80s to low 90s. I'm Mike Mays in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1FM, and 990 AM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. He has called it quits. Britain's ambassador to the U.S. has resigned just days after diplomatic cables highly critical of President Trump somehow leaked out.
Kim Darroch says even though his posting was due to end this year, he believed, quote, in the current circumstances, the responsible course is to allow the appointment of a new ambassador. Darroch's unfiltered views on the U.S. administration, meant for a limited audience and discreet review, appeared in leaked diplomatic documents that were published in a British newspaper. Prime Minister Theresa May said it was a matter of regret that Darroch resigned.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. President unloading on the ambassador, calling him wacky, very stupid, and a pompous fool. Federal appeals court in New Orleans has heard arguments over the constitutionality of Obamacare. The three-judge panel seems to be leaning toward ruling it unconstitutional. Attorney Robert Henneke is director of the Center for the American Future.
We intend to defend the constitutional rights of our clients to the highest court if we need to do so, because it is unconstitutional how Congress wrote this law. Congress made a mistake in the way that they created the Affordable Care Act. Consequence of that is that law is going to be struck down.
Senate Majority Leader McConnell says lawmakers will uphold protections for those with pre-existing medical conditions if the law is struck down. Federal judge in New York says the Justice Department cannot replace a team of lawyers working on the administration's bid to include a citizenship question in the 2020 census. The judge saying justice has offered no explanation as to why it wants to swap out the legal team. Party time in New York City. A ticker tape parade on tap this morning for the World Cup champion women's soccer team. Wall Street, stock futures in the red. Dow futures down 55 points. S&P futures off 6 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
When it comes to your pain, many of you might be skeptical, like I was, about ordering Relief Factor. Pat Boone again for this wonderful 100% drug-free supplement designed to help your own body lower or eliminate occasional aches and pains due to aging, exercise, everyday living. I'm not skeptical any longer. The 3-week quick start is now discounted to only $19.95. Why don't you let us see if we can get you out of pain, too, at ReliefFactor.com.
Summer is here, and Matt's got the barbecue out all ready to grill. That's why he trusts Super Poly Grip, so he can enjoy his steak with full confidence. Poly Grip. Sounds like there's a party going on, but something's missing. The birthday gal's arrived, and thanks to Polydent, her bright smile is anything but a surprise. Polydent.
A punishing drought taking a toll on some of North Korea's most important crops.
North Korean officials admit they're suffering from their worst drought in almost 4 decades. And the lack of water is affecting North Korean farming more than originally predicted. Geoglam, an agricultural monitoring group set up by the G20 countries, says that North Korea's vital wheat and barley production had been expected to fall by 20%, but final yields will fall below that. That means that Pyongyang might need to turn to international aid to make up the shortfall. The UN says that 11 million people, more than 40% of North Koreans, are already in need of food assistance.
BBC's Celia Hatton. Another bull run in Pamplona, Spain, leaving 3 bruised runners, 1 person unconscious. 4 people have been gored since this year's daily races got underway on Sunday in the city in northern Spain. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Senate Republican leader vowing to push ahead with confirmation votes on the president's nominees.
Despite delays from Democrats who are now demanding
regular cloture votes on district judges, cloture votes on assistant secretaries.
Senator Mitch McConnell says the Senate will continue to work
to put impressive, impartial men and women on the federal judiciary.
And more than 2 years after President Trump went to work in the White House.
Finally, more of his team in place in the executive branch.
McConnell says Democrats have been engaged in what he calls unprecedented levels of obstruction. Bob Agnew, Capitol Hill.
Emmy Award-winning actor Rip Torn has died. The free-spirited Texan overcame his quirky name to become a distinguished actor in theater, on TV, and in the movies. He died yesterday afternoon at his home with his wife and daughters by his side. Rip Torn was 88 years old. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Retirement. It could be the best years of your life. You'll finally get to do what you want to do. Travel, golf, spend time with the grandkids, or just relax at home. But you have to plan for it. Start by tuning in to Grant Perry of Pinehurst Capital, Saturday mornings at 7 and Sunday mornings at 11 for Tee Up Your Retirement. Don't wing it, plan for it. Tune in every Saturday morning at 7 and Sunday morning at 11 for Tee Up Your Retirement with Grant Perry. Pinehurst Capital Inc. is a registered investment advisor in the state of North Carolina.
I think we can all agree weekends are delicious. Well, your weekend just got more delicious. The Hickory Tavern is now serving
Ross Perot. Of course, I did do Ross Perot. And here is the deal. See. Now, he's got one eye almost shut like that. See, here it is. Now, Christmas season. Isn't this nice? I love those Christmas songs. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Now, what the hell is a red-nosed reindeer? A reindeer with a drinking problem, I swear. I just adore it here, and so do all my kids. So does Mara. I love Ross Perot at a press conference. Did you love when he gets to, yeah, but what? How, do you have any evidence? What? You're not listening to one word I'm saying, are you? You want a sound bite? Is that what you want? You want a little sound bite, little something to put in your press story there? Is that what you want? See? Is that what you like, huh? Now, the deficit, the deficit is like a crazy ant down the basement. No one is paying attention to her. And she is just getting unrear and stinkier. You got me? I say, take her out, slap her around, and hose her down.
Appliances look stunning, but with time-saving features like hands-free autofill, they're designed to make kitchen work much easier. So talk to the kitchen experts at Keys Appliance in Aberdeen and see how GE Profile appliances save you work and save you money. But hurry, this rebate offer ends soon.
Neck, shoulder, or back pain can be downright debilitating. If you have those issues, you already know that, and you don't need me to tell you about the opioid crisis. There's another, better way. I'm talking about chiropractic, a healing art that's also science. Dr. Sharon Wright of Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes invites you to come in for a discussion about how chiropractic works and could work for you. To be sure, there are many of you out there that have reached the proverbial dead end trying to treat and manage your pain.
This is Dr. Wright. I can't guarantee I can fix every problem, but I will tell you honestly whether chiropractic can be of help for your particular issue. Living with pain is not always the only option. Doesn't it make sense to explore every avenue before resigning yourself to the limitations of pain? Call our office today to schedule a consultation and start living again. 673-2225.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. Breaking news. Britain's ambassador to the U.S. has resigned after a transatlantic diplomatic spat over some leaked emails. CBS News correspondent Vicky Barker reports from London.
In a statement, Sir Kim Darroch says it had become impossible for him to carry out his role as Her Majesty's representative in Washington, so he's stepping down for the good of his country.
Governor Roy Cooper was in Charlotte on Tuesday touring storm damage from June severe flooding in Charlotte. The Catawba River flooded in early June, damaging at least 40 homes in northwest Charlotte. The governor told WSOC News,
I'm going to go back to our emergency management and tell them what I've learned today, and for them to look in to see and explore all kinds of avenues that can help people.
A state lawmaker is the Republican nominee for the 3rd Congressional District seat left vacant by the death of Representative Walter Jones, Jr. Voters in Tuesday's 3rd District GOP primary runoff chose Dr. Greg Murphy of Greenville. Dr. Murphy told WITN News,
over $1.3 million from outside money and influence was poured into this district, and we combated it with good old-fashioned politics of grassroots, door-knocking, telephone call, and word of mouth, and that's what the people of Eastern North Carolina responded to.
President Trump says he will be looking very closely at Labor Secretary Alex Acosta's role in a secret 2008 plea deal for billionaire financier Jeffrey Epstein. However, President Trump appears to be standing by Acosta. CBS News correspondent Ben Tracy.
Many Democrats, including those running for president, are now calling for Acosta's resignation. He defended himself on Twitter Tuesday, saying, with the evidence available more than a decade ago, federal prosecutors insisted that Epstein go to jail, register as a sex offender, and put the world on notice that he was a sexual predator.
Wake County Animal Control has opened an animal cruelty investigation after officers found more than 200 rats, dogs, cats, and other pets inside of a home. You're listening to NCN News.
There are millions of unused and leftover opioid pills in North Carolina alone, enough to stretch from the mountains to the coast. These powerful prescription pills are contributing to an epidemic that takes 5 lives every day. But there is something more powerful than opioids. All of us. We can take back our extra pills and ask our healthcare providers about alternatives for pain. Together, we can take back our communities. Learn how you can help end the epidemic at morepowerfulnc.org.
Medicaid expansion, school safety, a statewide bond package, the next state budget. North Carolina lawmakers are tackling these and other topics. You can follow all the action with Carolina Journal. How would these proposals affect you, your wallet, your family? Carolina Journal offers answers. Available each month as a free newspaper. Every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your best source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Receiving and casting mail-in absentee ballots in North Carolina could take longer but be more secure in legislation that's cleared one General Assembly chamber. The Senate gave its final approval on Tuesday to the bipartisan measure, which was developed in response to accusations of absentee ballot harvesting, particularly in last year's 9th Congressional District race. Fans are turning out to celebrate the U.S. women's soccer team with a ticker tape parade in Lower Manhattan today. The team defended their World Cup title Sunday with a 2-0 victory over the Netherlands.
I'm Mara Rubin along the Canyon of Heroes. The narrow streets are starting to populate with fans, excited to watch the team ride up to City Hall, where New York's mayor will give them keys to the city. One mother here with her 3 daughters called the team's win a victory for women and a victory for America, and said, for today, let's rename the parade route the Canyon of Heroines.
He has been at the helm not even a month, but Jody Green says he is wasting no time leading the Columbus County Sheriff's Office. Green officially became sheriff in June after a 7-month-long debate about who the rightful sheriff was. Green tells WWAY News in Wilmington it's time to move forward.
I want us to regain the respect this office deserves. And people, especially ones that get and support me, are not behind. Just take a look and see if you see any change.
A country rock band has been disinvited from the Illinois State Fair.
Confederate Railroad was scheduled to appear at the fair in DuQuoin on August 27th. Governor J.B. Pritzker has canceled the gig because the band features the Confederate flag in some of its music videos. Fans are furious and threatening to boycott the fair. They say they're under the thumb of Chicago liberals, concerned about political correctness. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
We are keeping our eyes on two things. One, a tropical system developing over the northeast Gulf of Mexico. The second is a cold front that arrives here by Friday. Now, for us later today, it's just a small chance for a shower or storm along and east of I-95. The high in the mid-80s to about 90, so it is a warmer day. Partly cloudy tonight. An early evening shower cannot be ruled out. The low in the low 70s. And a little better chance for thunderstorms on Thursday, more likely north and west. Our highs upper 80s to low 90s. I'm Mike Mays in the Weather Center.
Right now, here in the Sand Hills area, it's mostly cloudy. A little sun now, and now it's partly cloudy, they say. 75 degrees, humidity 90%, 2.72. Pressure is 30.09, winds east at 8. It is 8:13. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Wednesday hump day. Responding to recent criticism of the location of the new Aberdeen Elementary School, Superintendent Bob Grimacy says he has decided that an additional environmental study will be conducted. The Board of Education has come under fire in recent months for buying land on NC5 for the new school year. Several abandoned pesticide dumps that were using in the late 1980s and the mid-1990s. Critics contend contamination could remain in the ground and water, posing a potential long-term health risk. In an effort to quell those fears, what is called a, quote, Phase 2 environmental assessment will be done by the on the site of the school new school now under construction by the same company that did the first one. In Aberdeen limits, few undeveloped properties are more than a mile from the Aberdeen pesticide dump site, a catch-all used to refer to 5 separate locations where a series of pesticide companies disposed of waste from their production process beginning in the 1930s. Construction began in November on a 22-acre site off of NC5 across from the former Pitt Golf Course in November. The school board purchased that property in 2015 with the intention of setting a new 800-student K-5 school to place the aging Aberdeen Primary and Elementary School. And more school news. Moore County School Superintendent Dr. Bob Grimacy reported that the continuing response to the Pinecrest ACT scores debacle, the district is continuing to work with affected students and their families to minimize the effect and to ensure the students can retest in time to meet college applications and scholarship requirements. The district has established a 10-member team to review the incident and ensure this does not happen again. The team is evaluating all phases of the testing procedure and will also determine the feasibility of utilizing online testing for the ACT testing in the future. The team will be led by Moore County School Executive Officer for Academics and School Support Services, Dr. Mike Metcalf. Get all that on a business card, will you? It is scheduled to provide an individual report at the August 5th school board work session, and the Pinecrest High School website will have updates. That's your latest. So, one other note, this Sunday morning, a large sycamore tree located in front of 140 Southwest Broad Street is scheduled to be removed by a tree service beginning at 6:30 in the morning. They will be using a large crane for this process, so the entire 100 block of Southwest Broad Street will be closed to all traffic and pedestrians beginning at 6:30 and will continue that way until the tree roots are removed. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but stand by. Here comes your latest in sports right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. It is 8:16.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. It is 7 straight wins in the Major League All-Star Game for the American League. Joey Gallo's solo homer in the 7th gave the AL a 4-1 lead before the junior circuit hung on for a 4-3 win over the National League in Cleveland last night. The story for the American League was on the mound. 9 hurlers, each threw 1 inning. They combined to allow just 5 hits and 16 strikeouts. Indians pitcher Shane Bieber gave the local fans a thrill. He struck out the side and was named the game MVP. AL manager Alex Cora says he appreciated the entire All-Star experience.
The last 2 days, I never envisioned myself in an All-Star game. It's one of the best baseball experiences I ever had in my life.
NL first baseman Pete Alonso says, win or lose, he was thrilled with his first All-Star experience.
If you would have told me I'd have got 1 for 2, 2 stakes, and take home a home run derby championship, I mean, that's a hell of a week, or a hell of a weekend, and this has been a dream come true.
A championship welcome happening later this morning in New York City for the U.S. women's soccer team. Mark Liverman is in Manhattan with a preview of today's ticker tape parade.
The last time the women won the World Cup in 2015, it was the first time New York ever held a ticker tape parade for a women's team. This time around, some of the players have used their success to fight for equal pay in the workplace and on the field.
This World Cup win is so much more than what was on the field. It seems like one of those just sort of iconic turning points in history.
The team has accepted an invitation to visit Congress, but is unlikely to go to the White House if invited by President Trump.
The celebration may prove somewhat grueling. Meanwhile, right after the parade, they'll have to jet across country to Los Angeles for tonight's ESPY Awards. This is NCN Sports.
There's no place like home. It has a certain magic of its own. And memories are made there every day. A lifetime of good times shared along the way. Have yourself a Bluebell Country Day.
Ask any cow what her favorite Bluebell snack bar is, and you'll get the same answer. Moo. Why not? Classic Moo bars are 12 packs of rich, decadent chocolate-dipped frozen vanilla treats. Any other questions?
A lifetime of good times shared along the way. Have yourself a Bluebell Country Day.
Serena Williams had to grind out a tough match against fellow American Allison Risk to reach her 12th Wimbledon singles semifinal. That in 3 sets yesterday at the All England Club. The 11th-seeded Williams next will face Barbora Stritsova. Today, 7-seed Simone Halep will take on number 8 Alina Svitolina in another semifinal match. Halep defeated Zhang Shuai of China in straight sets to get her second semifinal at the All England Club. Svitolina making her debut in a semifinal at any major tournament. Carolina Panthers owner David Tepper and team president Tom Glick say they plan to travel to New York next week to meet with Major League Soccer officials in an effort to convince them to bring an expansion soccer franchise to the Queen City. Tepper's been working to bring MLS soccer to Charlotte since purchasing the Panthers last summer. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Fields Plumbing and Heating and Air Conditioning customers include the military, federal, state, and local governments, hospitals, and school systems, as well as many independent businesses. We stand by our services and products, and as a result, we are proud that our business comes from repeat business and customer referrals. Fields Plumbing and Heating and Air Conditioning also serves many residents in Moore and surrounding counties, and we have been in business for 70 years. Call 910-949-3232. 910-949-3232.
Hey Sandhills, Chef Karen here. We know you love our Sunday brunch, and this summer we're making it even better. You can't beat our made-to-order omelets with just-picked local veggies, hot fluffy waffles with fresh berries and peaches, homemade desserts, and this includes a beverage, a Sunday mimosa or a Bloody Mary, coffee, tea, or soda, all for $16.95. All summer long at Philly and Colts at Little River. Join us, 692-4411.
Hi, this is Al Mangum. My wife's SUV was going to the body shop for a week and I needed a rental car. I went to Rent-A-Wreck on US 1 in Aberdeen and found their vehicles in good shape or better than other rentals. Rent-A-Wreck is known for lower rates and has great customer reviews on Facebook. When I need a rental, I'm going to Rent-A-Wreck on US 1 in Aberdeen. And don't let that name fool you. Drive in or call 910-944-9444. 944-9444.
Aaron Cooper of Cooper Ford in Carthage wants you to know that you can't buy a new Ford car, truck, or SUV for less anywhere else, guaranteed. If you're in the market for a new Ford, what are you waiting for? Cooper Ford is the only locally and family-owned Ford dealership in Moore County. So if you're tired of the cold corporate climate of other dealerships, trade up for a family-friendly hometown dealer. Right now, get 0% APR financing for up to 72 months on the all-new 2019 Ford F-150 or the 2019 Ford Mustang. With no games, no gimmicks, just upfront, honest pricing and certified service after the sale.
I'm Aaron Cooper, and I want to know you by name. Come in today and let Cooper Ford show you how car buying should be.
Come to Cooper Country today, just a few short minutes from the traffic circle off 15501 in Carthage, or on the web at cooperford.net. Cooper Ford, working hard to be your hometown dealer.
The Plumbing Night would like to thank all of our valued customers for voting them Best of the Pines for the last 2 years in a row. Extraordinary service and integrity is the lifeblood of the Plumbing Night. Come see us at theplumbingnight.com.
If you have inflammation, you know how painful it can be. Just imagine how painful it is for your pet, even though they never complain. Anti-inflammatories work, but are even harder on your pet's organs than yours. Thankfully, there's an alternative that more and more people are using to treat pain, but often don't realize is great for pets too. I'm talking about CBD oil and treats from Flowland. Come into Flowland and let's discuss how CBD oil and treats can benefit a range of issues for your pet. Issues like arthritis, anxiety, appetite, digestion, seizures, mood, and more. You shouldn't be paying an arm and a leg for one of nature's most beneficial products. Flowland, your best and most affordable source for CBD products for humans and pets. On US 1 North in Aberdeen.
American Water Treatment Services has been providing the best water purification systems for over 25 years to Moore County residents and the surrounding area. Our mission is to provide you with the best environmental products to improve the quality of water in your home, improving both your family's well-being and overall health. American Water Treatment's professionally trained technicians assure you that our equipment fits your home and family's needs. Our local water guys, Paul and Marty, own the business and collectively have had 30 years of water treatment experience. American Water Treatment is fully insured with a AAA Plus Better Business Bureau rating. Call for a free in-home water analysis at 910-944-3140 or go online to AmericanWTS.com. We at American Water Treatment can do just about anything with your water except walk on it. Call 910-944-3140 and ask for the Water Guys.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. Well, by now you know that Dr. Bob Grimacy has made the decision to order a Phase 2 study of the Aberdeen school site. While announcing this, he stated he wanted to make it clear from the start that his decision does not mean he harbors any concerns about the environmental quality of the Aberdeen school site. He said there's no reason to suspect the site presented any environmental risk. You mean except that it's a half mile from a site that was used to dump factory-produced pesticide waste for 5 decades? What's wrong with you, man? In fact, he went on to say, this site fits into the category that makes the land optimal for a school. Optimal for a school. Bob, that's about the crappiest site you could imagine. It's on an industrial site beside a pesticide dump. What's wrong with you, Bob? And do you know who Bob unilaterally chose to do the next assessment? He chose a company called Building and Earth. They're the guys who did the first assessment. So we're hiring them to make sure that they were correct. And by the way, even they would not state that the land is without risk from pesticides. Bob said it's going to cost $25,000, and he hates to spend that money because it was entirely unnecessary and requires additional costs to the taxpayer. Really? I thought that was your criteria for spending money, Bob. And by the way, that's still $5,000 less than it's going to cost for the ACT scores you screwed up. I'm out of time. More to follow from the Zoom Wall Zone.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. We are watching a cold front that's getting closer and closer to our state. And by the time we get to tomorrow and especially Friday, the odds of seeing showers and storms grows. Now, later today, if we see any showers and storms, they're more along and east of I-95, the high in the mid-80s to about 90. It's a warmer afternoon. An early evening shower cannot be ruled out, the low in the low 70s. And then tomorrow, especially north and west of Raleigh, a better chance for scattered storms with upper 80s to low 90s. I'm Mike Mays in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Can you tell me what day it is?
It's Wednesday. Jesus, it's only Wednesday?
What's on the agenda for today?
Back to work. Back to work.
Is this every Wednesday? Every Wednesday.
Can't say that I'm liking it.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Well, get over it.
And get back to work.
Well, you are grumpy in the morning.
Oh, yeah? What would be a good time for you?
How about showtime?
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with... Now we're going to have the John here in just a moment. We got to start this out right. Along with Marine Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel.
Morning, Moore County. Hey, it's trash day in the pilot distribution area here, so walk down the end of your driveway, pick up that plastic bag full of trash. We don't want it to get into the watershed and pollute anything, so put it in the nearest trash receptacle.
There you go. Of course, that trash being the pilot. Don't forget, of course, we are being heard and seen around the world on the live video stream. That's up and fired up right now at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where the link is located, and on your YouTube device, on your mobile device will work. Just put fire your YouTube app on your mobile device and put Mornings with the Leader Man in there. If you're looking just for our audio, that's available with many streaming apps such as TuneIn, iTunes Streamer on your mobile device. Just put WEEB into that search. And as always, our stream's available on our website at talk973.com. Upper right-hand corner of every page has an icon that says Listen Live. Tap that once, and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sandhills area, partly cloudy with scattered thunderstorms. 89 for a high, heat index 95. Last hour, they didn't have a heat index, so you know it just got worse. Then tonight, partly cloudy, more isolated thunderstorms, 74 for a low. And it's pretty much the same forecast every day with temperatures climbing. We'll have partly cloudy skies, scattered showers late in the day and afternoon, evening. Highs in the 90s, heat index in the upper 90s every day. The only little bit of hope in there is Sunday afternoon at about 12 noon. These dew points will climb out of the 70s and go into the upper 60s. And you'll feel the difference, although that's not a big difference. You will definitely feel it because the difference between 70 and 68 is huge when you're outside. Right now around the Sandhills, winds are east of 8. This pressure is 3009. Dew point at an awful 72. Humidity 90%. It's partly cloudy, 75 degrees here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is Wednesday. It's time for the extended Zoom Wall Zone for our Wednesday. John joins us in the studio this morning. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Steve, and good morning, Jeff. I wish you could have seen Jeff fly out of that chair when Steve started to introduce him. He didn't have a microphone in front of him. He was coming at me full barrel. He's a pretty big guy. It kind of scared me a little bit.
Those Marines will do that to you.
Well, I've got another Marine on here. In fact, I've got some good news for you. You're not going to have to listen to me speak very much this session. I've got a very good friend of mine. His name is David Hensley. He's a former Marine and a very successful businessman. But the thing I like about him is that he's full of integrity. He's someone who some would say tells it like it is. I say speaks the truth. He's not always, he doesn't always consider people's feelings when he does that. But I happen to know that in spite of his rough exterior, he's a good man, a good family man, a man who loves this nation very much, a guy who's been successful and still managed to keep his ethical values and his morals about him. And I'm very, very happy to have him on today. Good morning, David Hensley.
Morning, John. I'm glad to be here in the Zumwalt zone.
David, I'd like to start by letting you tell very briefly, because there's a lot I would like for you to get into, about your career in the Marines and then how you built your business. And I'd like you to include, did someone give you a lot of money, or did you inherit a lot of money, or how did this happen? Because you've been very successful.
No. So I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1984 out of the Cultural Center of the Universe. That would be Oklahoma City. And I was enlisted for 7 years, and I got commissioned, and I was commissioned for 13 years. My last duty station was Quantico, Virginia. And while I was there, I started a part-time store in the town of Quantico with $12,500. And it grew from there. And in 2008, I moved my companies down here. We're in the old Sandhill Sports Center off 211.
What kind of store was it?
It was a gun and tactical store. So, the business model, I'm going to sell guns to Marines. How hard can that be, right? So my store was open at the time Wednesday evenings and Saturdays, unless I was deployed, and then I'd shut it down and come back 6 months later and open it back up. I moved my companies down here in 2008. Didn't take a dime of economic development money. If a company's a good idea and if it can succeed on its own, it doesn't need to be subsidized. People say, big deal, you moved your companies down here, so what? Last year, just one of my companies had $700 million worth of revenue. Quantico Tactical is the largest federal contractor by dollar volume in the state of North Carolina, and we're fourth in the southeast United States. I own 3 other companies. All of them are leaders or in the top 3 of their industries.
Well, let me ask you this, David. If you've had $700 million worth of revenue from various government contracts or whatever it might be, you've probably gotten lots of help from the government. They probably have given you, what do they do? They give you money to seed with or what? How's it work?
No. I did it the old-fashioned way. I paid for everything. I paid our relocation, paid for our building. Again, I didn't take a dime of economic development money because I don't believe in that.
How'd you find doing business in North Carolina?
When I moved down here, we had a temporary warehouse down in Laurel Hill, and our headquarters was in Rayford. We could do a whole show on Rayford, by the way. We should do a Zumwalt zone on Rayford and everything I learned there during the 2008 election. So we looked around. We talked to different economic development people so they could show us what we did. And I got to say, and this is an aside, and we could do a whole show on this too, but the biggest impediment to economic progress in Moore County is the Partners in Progress. They make it very, very, very difficult. The county makes it very difficult to do business here. So I located my companies in Hoke County.
Well, we can't let that go. I've got to ask you, how does, and we haven't talked about this, it's not like this is planned that we're going to, what kind of things does Moore County do to make it difficult for business here? Because I think a lot of our commissioners listen, and maybe you can tell us what they do.
Yeah, I got a couple examples. One example is a company that I was involved in that I helped start up that we located in Lee County initially. And they moved into a building, a warehouse, light industrial. They don't do any pollution. They just do assembly and stuff like that. In Lee County, they moved into an existing building, warehouse in a light industrial area, existing use. And from the time they signed the lease until they were operating was 2 weeks. That's my experience in Hoke County. I've had warehouses, I've had stores across the United States, and my experience across the entire United States, to include three local counties, including Scotland County, is if you move into a building and it's a similar use and you're using it for the same thing, from the time you sign the lease until you're up and running is generally 2 to 3 weeks. Even in Washington State and California, it was only 3 weeks or so. Well, that company wanted to move, and they moved into a building out in West End and bringing those jobs to Moore County. This company does now about $120 million worth of business each year. And they moved into an existing building and same use, light industrial. It took them 3.5 to 4 months to get the permits in Moore County. It was absolutely crazy and outside the experience that I've had across the country.
When you have that kind of a impediment to moving into a building, which discourages you from a business from coming here, let's just take your case. What does that mean to Moore County when they lose a business like yours, and you go to another county? What kind is that loss of revenue?
Oh, it's all kinds of things.
Tell us about some of them.
You know, obviously you have direct employees, and you pay wages, you pay people's health care, but there's all kinds of secondary and tertiary effects. You know, you've got the FedEx driver, you've got the people who service your building, you got the people who come and visit, you got the vendors who come here and stay with hotels and all of that. Just having Quantico, you almost had to hit the censor button there, Steve. Just having Quantico Tactical in North Carolina and my commitment to supporting local industry, I can point to two or three companies, mills, textile mills, and sock manufacturers and stuff that would not be around if we were not in North Carolina and committed to creating jobs in North Carolina. Companies in Hickory, companies in Asheboro, that they just wouldn't be in existence anymore.
Well, to be clear to anyone listening, when we talk about these companies run into a lot of obstacles in Moore County, we're not talking about someone comes in right beside the Pinehurst Hotel and wants to erect a trailer park. We're talking about people, same use building. I want to make that very clear.
Right. We're talking appropriate industry in appropriate place. We're talking a light industrial assembly company, distribution company, locating in an industrial zone. I got another example for you about partners in progress, impeding progress. Let's talk about AC Sandhills and their desire a few years ago to put basketball courts and volleyball courts in the old carpet factory. That was Gulistan plant, right? Yeah. So, people don't tie stuff together, and they should. You look at all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, there was all this AstroTurf mob. Oh my God, we need basketball courts. We need volleyball courts. We need, it's really kind of the same mob that shows up. We need school bonds. We need school bonds, right? So all of a sudden, it was just the most important thing in this county that we pay for people's recreation.
When you say we, who's we?
Oh, the rent-a-mobs. Oh, we, the taxpayers.
The taxpayers pay for it.
Yeah, paying for the hobbies and the recreation of vocal minorities. By minorities, I'm not talking about
race,
traditional definition. I'm talking a small number of people that just are very vocal, right? So we had a private enterprise solution to that. AC Sandhills, who's a wonderful organization, man. You see their soccer teams, you see their volleyball teams, you see their basket, everything, man. They're wonderful. And they had a vision of turning a good portion of the Gulistan plant into an indoor volleyball and I believe basketball facility. They had investors. They were going to have tournaments here. The tournaments, volleyball tournaments, are in the fall and winter, so it was counter-cyclical to the golf crowd. So it was a wonderful idea, man. It was using an existing plant. There was plenty of parking. Oh, by the way, apparently there's plenty of capacity on that road, Route 5, to support it because they're building a damn school on that Route 5. That's one of the arguments they used against AC Sandhills is, oh, well, that road can't handle the traffic. I occasionally chase squirrels. Anyway, so it would have brought great economic activity to Moore County. Hotels, restaurants, all that. Great plan. Well, guess who opposed it? The partners in progress. the economic development arm of Moore County went to the Aberdeen City Council and opposed AC Sandhills creating economic activity.
And Partners in Progress is run by?
It's run by the county government.
Okay.
My understanding is Partners in Progress is
who
funded,
heads it up?
The former president of Pinehurst Resort.
Pat. I'm trying to remember Pat's
Yeah,
last
whatever,
name.
you know. But
Yeah.
So here's my take, right? Is Partners in Progress. You know, if you want more golf, right, and no other industry, then put the former president of Pinehurst in charge of Partners of Progress. And not only will you get more golf, but you will not get other economic activity unless it supports golf. And if there's other recreation that competes with it, guess who's going to oppose it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, well, no, go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Pat, all he's interested in is bringing in some fictitious industrial park to the northwestern part of our county. And he's encouraging infrastructure to be built that direction.
Oh yeah, you know those are giant, enormous boondoggles, and
every county wants one.
Yeah, well, I saw that when I was stationed at Camp Lejeune in Cherry Point. You know, they had that big global trans park, and they still have that. It's a giant boondoggle. They spent probably hundreds of millions of dollars by now, and you know that there hasn't been a single global trans park built. But let's talk about industrial parks in Moore County. You know, there is one, and there's one off Route 5, and it's been there since I've been here. It's called I forget what it's called, but it's there near where they're building the school. Industrial sites, pads ready to go. You know, no private enterprise has ever built a building there next to where they're building the school or down the street. You got to ask yourself why private enterprise won't build buildings there when they're building them everywhere else. Anyway, that's an aside. So let's get back to the gym. So they shot that down, right? They shot down a privately funded private enterprise solution. But, oh my God, we need gyms. We need gyms. So let's just fleece the taxpayers. Let's you know, the Pinehurst City Council stood up and said, oh, look at all this money we got. We could return it to the tax. Oh no, that didn't cross. Let's spend it. Let's build a gym. So, you know, they want to build all these government solutions. Let's take another one. Let's take the skateboard guy, right? Everyone saw the news. And, you know, I'm sure he's a wonderful kid. You know, we'll call him Bart, right? So Bart and his father, Homer, right? I shouldn't say that. I'm sure they're wonderful people, right? But they want a skate park. And, you know, they had all these wonderful arguments. Oh my gosh, if I try to skate, I get cited. You know, the government doesn't provide me a skate park. You know, I have to go 38 miles for a skate park. Well, JD, as you know, I like cars. I like fast cars, right? So if I zoom down Midland Road in my GT 500, I get cited. Well, where's my racetrack? You know, I have a Raptor, man. If I take my Raptor and I jump on number 9 and I'm zooming up and down the 8th fairway and jumping the whatever they are, I don't golf, by the way, I get arrested, right? Well, that's unfair. I'm a taxpayer. I pay a lot of tax. I pay a lot of taxes, people, and I got to drive 38 miles to the Urari Park to take my Raptor off road. Why hasn't Southern Pines built me a racetrack? Where's my racetrack? You know, if I want to race one of my road cars, I got, you know, there's a failed racetrack down in Rockingham, but, you know, I could probably pay the owner, you know, I got to drive to the Virginia International Raceway to race my GT 350. Again, Southern Pines, where's my racetrack? Why are you not spending the taxpayers' money to provide my recreation?
All right, I'm going to shift gears here for a second. See how I did that? You're talking about your Raptor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you do the jokes, right?
And by the way, if you do decide to go to number 9, would you Facebook Live that, please? I would like to see it. But, and I want to make a point here. The owner of Goldston Plant, when they were doing that, he spoke in favor of it. He wanted to let them do it, and he was very upset they couldn't. The guy didn't need the money. All right. This may embarrass you a little bit. I'm sorry, but I've got to say this to make a point. Some of you may be thinking, well, here's a rich guy on the radio, and he's complaining about using tax money to build things that, like a skate park. why is he complaining? He pays a lot of taxes. Okay, good for him. Big deal. Well, let me tell you something else he does. He gives hundreds of thousands of dollars to what I would call charitable type donations. Hundreds of thousands. So before you that to me, that gives him a great deal of credibility when he speaks about not wasting money. He and I both believe in free enterprise. We believe in letting people spend any amount of money they want to of their own money, but we don't believe in letting our government take it away from us. Now, let me shift back again to something else. In spite of the fact that you and I both are very critical of Moore County from time to time, we both love Moore County. I can't even talk enough about the amount of patriotism here, the retired military, the folks who support the military, the good people who've worked hard all their lives and managed to be able to afford to retire here. So let's talk a little bit about what could fix Moore County, David, not that it's broken, but could fix it as far as being able to bring more businesses here, the right kind of businesses, and like yours, and not discourage people from opening their little shops and things. How can we fix this?
Oh, it does not require money. You know, politicians always want money. Let's throw money at it. Let's throw more people at it. Let's do bonds. Let's build an airport. Let's build it. Speaking of rich people, let's build an airport so they can fly their planes in and out. It doesn't take money. What it takes is a pro-business environment. What's a pro-business environment? Well, when you go down to get your permits, instead of 3 months of delay and, well, we only do that once a month, that stuff should be shuffled through, and the Partners in Progress should be there to help people do that. It doesn't take money. It just takes a pro-business environment.
Well, I'm not a guy who knows how to bring business in, but I'm thinking if I were going to bring a business here, I'd like a one-shop stop. And have maybe someone from Partners in Progress there to direct me through it, help me fill out the forms, tell me this is what it takes, and then say what I used to say all the time, got it, and I'd run with it. It's that kind of thing you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. But instead what we have is an economic development organization that actually opposes economic development because, it's not the right type of recreation, or it's not government-provided recreation.
Well, you've got my curiosity up when you mentioned Rayford, and we could do a whole show on that. Can you just give us a little peek into what you're talking about there?
No.
Well, now
so let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about what it will take. Let's talk about what the problem is in Moore County. And I think Nick hit it on when he was on your show. By the way, I think this is a wonderful format, John. I think you should do more of this. I think there's lots of wonderful people out here in Moore County. I think there's people whose stories need to be told, whether it's the recent immigrant that you talked about over dinner the other night, or business people, government people. I think a format where people come in and talk for 30 minutes and it's a conversation. I think it's wonderful. I'd like to see more of that. So, what's it take? You know what? It takes leadership and courage. I will tell you a story. When I lived in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, I was stationed there, and it was it made me proud to be a Virginian. I think it was in the mid-'90s. I may be off on that, but again, I found as a Marine officer, you end up at Quantico from time to time, and unfortunately, D.C. every time I went there, it marched closer and closer to Quantico until I couldn't stand it and had to leave. But anyway. So at the time, they were wanting to put a Major League Baseball franchise in the D.C. area. And it was great, man. I mean, who doesn't want a baseball team, right? So the governor of Virginia, who at the time was a Republican, a true Republican, not a rhino, a true conservative guy. And people don't know this, but originally they wanted to put what's now the Washington Nationals, they wanted to put that in Arlington. And the governor of Virginia said, man, that is great. I love baseball. I want a baseball team. I will do anything in my power. I mean, he publicly said this. I will do anything in my power to get you guys to locate in Arlington, but you're not getting a dime of taxpayer money. That takes courage. What I see in Moore County is I see local government boards caving to every special interest group, whether it's this whether it's the skateboard guy, right? Whether it's, the school board. They just caved everything. Look at Aberdeen once again, Friends of the Library, they want to build a library. And there's probably 5 people who are the Friends of the Library, and Aberdeen's going to build a library. This is the 21st century, right? So first of all, we give, everybody has internet access in their house. You have, in your house, you have access to the sum of all man's knowledge. I would even question the need for a library. But, maybe if you do want a library, then, they're building a school, right? They're building Love Canal Elementary. That's another topic that we could talk about. Why don't they do something innovative, and say, why don't we, rather than spend this money on a library, why don't we partner with the school board, and why don't we somehow do it at the new elementary school? It takes courage to stand up to every little special interest group and say, I'm not going to do that.
Well, you've just raised something that will be controversial. Who comes out against libraries? Now, this is something This is something I want to say. I've thought about this for probably a decade. It may be time for people to start shifting gears. I've used that term again. I'm going to have to think of a new term. But it may be time for people to think about things like this. Are libraries are they really necessary? And I know it's going to make a lot of people angry to hear that. But we've got to start putting our money in the wisest places possible. And the truth of the matter is that you can't do everything for everyone with my money and your money, the people listening. We've got to start doing things that make sense. And I want to say also, David, I think you'll agree with me, if the young man who wanted the skate park and his dad are listening, this isn't an attack on you. It's an example of that he used. And as he said, I'm sure you're wonderful people. So we've got all the people at the library angry with us, and we've got the people at the skate want to skate up.
I'd like to announce my candidacy.
Just ask yourself, when was the last time you went to a library?
Yeah.
You pull out your phone and you go to Google.
Yeah.
Right. So, but by God, we're going to build a library.
And if you want to read a book, well, I'll shut up about that. But you made all the folks who live by number 9 angry, and so. But we know that there are a lot of impediments to doing business in Moore County. We know Moore County is a wonderful place. We know that they, but I tell you, when you talk about courage and leadership, and yes, integrity, we've got some problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and I don't really want to get into the school board with you. I know you spoke there the other night. I didn't want to go there because we've covered it so much, but I do want to say this. Even though I've not accused the school board members of lack of integrity, I have accused Bob and John Barath of that. I will accuse them of lack of courage and leadership for not following their own, for not being leaders.
You know what? It doesn't take courage to lick boots. It takes cowardness.
Well, that's my point. That's my point. Do you have any plans at all, David? And you can either say yes, no, or I don't want to tell you, or you can go into a little detail. As far as politics go, would you ever consider getting involved in local politics?
Oh, I'll get involved. I'm not sure how, but I'm definitely going to be there.
You're going to be there, and I'm going to go a step further. You may never buy me dinner again, and I may never buy you dinner again. But would you ever consider a candidacy?
Oh, I don't know. I'm being urged to go that way, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, I'm one of the ones urging you, and I hope other folks will too.
By the way, that name I was trying to remember, Pat Corso. That was his name.
Yep. If you could be king for a day and wave a magic wand, what are some of the changes you'd make here in Moore County? And by the way, you do love Moore County.
Absolutely.
As much as I do. And you know, when you criticize your children, you still love them. And you want to fix them and make them better. And we both love this county very much. So we've only got like a minute left. I won't even limit you to that. Anything you want to say or talk about?
What we need is good, courageous public officials. John, like you said, they need to have integrity. They need to have leadership. They need to have intestinal fortitude. They need to have innovative thought. They need to not just rubber stamp and approve everything that shows up in front of them. Oh, we'll just tax the people more. Oh, we'll just raise property tax. Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. No, they need to be good stewards of our money, and they need to execute their oversight duties like their fiduciary responsibility says they should.
And if you're out there and you're listening and you think, well, maybe I could run for office, but I'm not as smart as those people who are there now. Yes, you are. Maybe you'll say, I don't really know a lot about education. Doesn't matter. All you need to know is how to be a leader, to look at the facts, make up your own mind, call in expertise if you need it, make your own judgments. Well, I would encourage people to think about running for any office that they think they could serve.
What I saw on the school board last night, it wouldn't be difficult to be more intelligent than all the people on the board combined. It would be difficult to beat them in smugness, though.
Oh, I'll tell you something else. You need people on these boards who won't let the tail wag them all the time. They just do what Dr. Bob says. They don't ever stand up to this man and say, you're working for me. You're going to do it my way.
Well, it's in all the boards. The county commissioners approved the budget.
Yeah, 1 second after they closed off public debate, boom, they voted in. It was a done deal before you walked through the doors.
Yep. It is endemic in all the boards here that no one has the courage to stand up and say, man, like the Virginia governor, man, that's great. I welcome that. I'll do anything I can here, but you're not spending taxpayer money for your hobby.
Well, John Zumwalt, David Hensley, thanks a lot for coming in this morning, sharing, and we'll do this again soon. Well, the rest of you, so it goes for this Wednesday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9 for a thumping Thursday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you hear on our airwaves because they are the backbone of our economy here in Ward County. Your money will stay here, roll over, and create jobs for all of us. And don't forget, millions of Americans have fought and they have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. So live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams and the Leader Man, and Nick and Coke the Dog. We'll see you at the hot, steamy dog park at 2.